everyone. Welcome to another episode of Seasons Podcast. It is a joy to be with you again. And I am so excited because today I have some very special guests with me. They are the closest people to me. And I'm just so glad that they agreed to be a part of this episode. It is a joy for me to have my children. Put your hands together for my kids. So right beside me, I have Jordan. Say hi.
Hi.
And I also have Malachi and Caleb.
What's up? What's going on?
And so we are so excited that they are here with us and that we have this opportunity to just share a little bit, talk a little bit. We hope that this time will bring an empowerment and encouragement to you. And let me tell you, raising kids is not easy. Not easy, but we thank God that it has been a joy and that our children have been just a blessing. And so I just want each of you to just kind of introduce yourself, say something, and then we'll kind of go from there. Just say your name, what you enjoy, you know what I mean, how old you are, and kind of go from there. Jordan, ladies first.
Hi, my name is Jordan Renee. I like to dance, sing sometimes, like take naps a lot because I'm tired. But other than that, yeah, that's just me.
You want to go first? Or?
Go ahead.
My name is Caleb. Most people call me CJ. I've eaten a bunch of things: reading, sports, basketball, football, just being active generally. And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to be here on this season's podcast. I feel honored as a special guest. And I'm looking forward to you guys getting to see us and know us, and for us getting to know you as well.
Yeah, we do feel honored to be on here. Special guest. My name is Malachi. I'm the firstborn. I'm 22. She asked you guys to say the age, but you guys didn't.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I'm 21. If that matters. But
Yeah. I'm the firstborn. I love to play basketball. I like to design clothes in my free time. I like to do a lot of stuff in media as well. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
All right. It's so great, okay, as a mother to be able to get your children to cooperate and come along with your antics is a mission. It's a mission impossible, but when it happens, it's something to celebrate, right? Something to celebrate. And so as a family, we have obviously, Malachi's the eldest. He's 21. Caleb is actually Malachi's 22. Sorry. That's what happens when you have
I'm
three
22.
kids.
I'm 22. He's 21. That's why you're supposed to say your age when she asks you, man.
I forgot.
That's it.
All right. So Malachi's 22. Caleb is 21, just turned 21, and Jordan is 18. All right. And so as you can imagine, after, parenting for 22 years and counting, that we have had a number of seasons, right? Seasons in parenting, seasons in for me as a parent, obviously, and for them as children being raised and so on. And so I guess my question to you guys then would be, tell me a little bit about your seasons, like how you feel about your journey, 22 years, 21 years, 18 years, how you feel about life, how you feel about the journey that you kind of been on, what you've accomplished maybe, what are the things that you appreciate the most about the seasons that you've experienced, and maybe some of the things that you probably not so much, right? Go ahead. Anyone who wants to answer.
I mean, that's a very compact question, I guess. It is a good question. I don't know I've been through a couple of stuff, but 21, I guess for an older audience, I'm still a baby. So much life left to live, of course. I guess I enjoy the most about it all is really just being able to have the opportunity, the luxury to grow up with a family, like a full family, a mom and a dad and a brother and sister. A lot of people might not have that same five or core group of five. And I think that has really helped for every season of my life, like whether it be in school, whether it be work, friends, just being able to grow the most in the home and let that transfer outside of the home. So I think that has been the best part of, I guess, my 21 years so far. Worst, I don't know. I don't think I have a worst yet. I think I'm too young to have a worst. I'll when I do, I'll get back to you guys. But I don't know if I have a worst yet.
Yeah, I appreciate what he said about the family dynamic of it. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and I think throughout my 22 years, I've appreciated having a great family, and the people who I've been surrounded by have really raised me and taught me how to act, how to deal with certain problems and deal with the ups and downs that come in life. You know, we all place our faith in God, but we understand and know that you're going to face challenges, and handling those challenges in the right way, being mature about it, being integral, having good morals, all those things that I learned from the community, the village that I was raised in Life Changers Church, West Toronto, when I was a baby walking around, right? In basketball, like all of the communities I've been a part of have really helped shape me for who I am. And the seasons that I've had have been up and down in basketball, in life, with relationships, with work, all types of stuff. It's been up and down, but what I thought was cliche when we were younger, to say trust in God and keeping God through everything, sounds cliche when you're younger, but when you're older, I know mom likes to say, live long enough and you'll see. You'll go through some stuff and you'll see.
That's
what
right.
it is. So yeah, I throughout my life and all the seasons that I've been through, I think it's a great name for your podcast. Perfect name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just, I think the village and the community of people that I have around me, and I think it's important for everybody to have as well, that will help shape you for who you are and how you're going to handle your situations and stuff.
Awesome. I don't know, Jordan, you wanna chime in?
They pretty much said everything. I feel like, obviously from my perspective, it might be a little bit different because obviously I'm a girl. But growing up, having like obviously the village, the churches, and the family was really good for me. Also, just having my brothers, cause growing up, being in school, doing things like that, obviously I'm not gonna know everything. And growing up, they've taught me a lot just going into school, and I've become Malachi and Caleb's little sister. And that was my name, but it's okay because having them just helps a lot. Just knowing how to like go around, guide yourself through life. So I feel like obviously I'm still really young. I don't really know if I have anything that's crazy bad that I've been through, but I definitely could say that I really enjoy like having brothers and having them be able to like guide me through my life and show me what not to do and show me what to do because you know they have to go through it before me.
Yeah.
So
But and it's also nice to know that, I mean, being the girl and being the baby with two older brothers, I mean, that there's nothing better than that because you have two bodyguards. They also become kind of like parents too because they tell you what not to do and all that stuff. But I think that you guys have a great dynamic, and watching you guys interact and grow has always been like a joy. Just seeing the different relationships that you guys have had over the years. CJ was always, when Jordan was born, CJ was the baby until Jordan was born. And I remember when we brought her home, and for the first time after the hospital, and Sean had Jordan and he's introducing her, like they would have seen her at the hospital, but now she's in the house. Like now
Right.
this is for real. Like this baby is actually coming to live with us, right? And so Malachi was cool because he's a bigger brother, so he's used to having to share, obviously. But CJ, you know, lost the baby status, right? And I remember when he saw her, and Sean was holding her, he's just looking at her with like this evil eye, like you came to take my place. And then at one point he kind of tried to poke her, and then my mom at the time was like, CJ, stop it, you know, and so like that. But I when she came home, you know, I saw his first reaction was just like, this is new, and I don't know if I like you. But then over time, when she started to cry, that I could see the tenderness in his heart, like, what do I need to do to help her, trying to give her a popsicle and all kind of stuff. And I said, okay, he's gonna be a good big brother. He recognized that it's
Right.
not his show. There's somebody else now on the scene, you know?
Right. No, it's true. Like Jordan, that's slime. Like Jordan, me and Jordan are really bros for real. Like that's the homie. So It starts off a little rough. Gotta ease her into the Howard lifestyle. Give it a little poke, but yeah, like he gave me enough. Actually, I think I gave him.
No, it was you.
Yeah, yeah. Our dad used to tell us how when we were younger. I guess mom could tell a story better than me because I wouldn't remember that much. But apparently, I pushed him down the stairs, do a whole lot of extra stuff. But
Too much, too much, too much. Raising two boys that are 15 months apart, absolute chaos.
yeah, it's like, I mean, but I have the more battle scars than him. Malachi's a bigger brother. He's more resilient. He's more resilient. I got a little bit, feel me? But either way, that's the best part. That's why I said, like, having a family, like a older brother and a younger sister, being in the middle isn't always the greatest. I know my mom can testify to that. But it definitely comes with its perks. Like, you get to see what it is to, like, you live through both sides. You live through the older brother. They already go through the stuff that you need to go through. And then the younger, like, they're going to go through what you went through. So you get to teach and learn. So.
All right, so this is good. Good insight, and you guys shared your experience. So, but what would you guys think? Okay, so what did you enjoy most then, from your childhood to your teenage years and now obviously young adult years? What would you say you enjoyed the most about the different seasons, or like, kind of growing into where you are today?
I feel like I could say I enjoyed the most kind of having my brothers and their friends, because I have two brothers, as you can see, but Malachi's friends, his group of friends, and Caleb's group of friends became my brothers as well. Like, a lot of Caleb and Malachi's friends have seen me grow up since I was like 5. So it's gotten to the point where I have like a village of brothers. So it kind of, I find it feels nice just to be like in that group of people and be like the only one that's a girl, but I know like they're protecting me and be able to bond with all of them in that type of way. And I feel like it was also really good for me to be able to go out and learn myself and not around boys, because growing up I became a little tomboyish. Obviously, being around 1,000 boys day, you're gonna become a little, But obviously, growing up, being able to like grow up like by myself and be able to just become my own person, I feel like was also really good. Just also having their advice with that, but I feel like that would be the best part.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. The community was the best part. I mean, being a PK is crazy. Like,
crazy work. Really crazy work. Any PK can
Absolutely.
testify to that. It's crazy work.
any PK can tell you, like, being a PK is like some crazy. But the best part about it is the community. Like, everybody loves you. Everybody's cool with you. Everybody's looking out for you. I was thinking of this earlier. Like, everybody has, all eyes are on you, and it's a blessing and a curse. All eyes are on you because it's a blessing, because people are looking out for you. They care for you. They're gonna tell you when you're wrong. But the bad part is when you're outside. People are like, you see Malachi, you see him there with him friend on, and that's the bad part. When it's like people are saying, you know what I mean? So it's a blessing and a curse. That I enjoyed the community though. There's so, like, you guys taught us that having people around, having family, having good relationships, good friendships, working with good people, serving God with good people, that is one of the most valuable things in life.
Right. I think, like, just to kind of touch on what both of them said, like, especially when it comes to outside the house, like, they say that your friends are the family that you choose. And I think you have to learn who to choose. And I think having a core community of the church and just the parents kind of teach you instinctively who to choose and who to hang around. Yeah. And so, like, I feel like that's been the best of the outside, is because you kind of get to test how much you've learned from being inside the house, being nurtured from a loving mom and dad and a community of believers. That itself has been probably the best part, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, man. Absolutely. Because it does take a village to raise a child. And I was raised in a strong village. That was a prayer that I always prayed regarding my children. I wanted them to have a strong community of friends and a strong church community, the same way I had, right? And their dad wanted that too. Like, the same things that we experienced in terms of the support and the friendships and the love and even the discipline. You know, because back then anybody could discipline you, right? If you did something and they went, you know, you can't tell off somebody else's parent because they're going to your parents and then your parents going to discipline you, right? So I valued just the way I was raised in a church community, but also my friends, like not only those who were in church, but even like through school or through work and so on, and just valuing the people that the Lord placed in my life. And I wanted that so badly for the kids to say, I want them to develop strong relationships, strong friendships, where my closest friends have become their aunts and uncles. You know, it's all been a family, whether blood or not, like we just family, right? And so I'm so appreciative of the fact that they have experienced that and it's part of who they are. The community is also part of who they are and has been a part of their upbringing as well. And I see the effects of that. I see the effects of having those who nurture, those who care, those who even kind of give some advice, you know what I mean? And they check, even when the kids don't know. Their aunts and uncles and extended family keep checking. How's Malachi? How's CJ? And even as a matter of fact, because when we were in Toronto, they're in the mall, and you know somebody might call and say, "I see Malachi here in the mall with a
You see what I mean?
I see CJ in the mall."
Madness,
And say, you know, same, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, it's good, and I won't tell them because I don't want them to know that I got spies all over the place. But they would be looking out for them, right? So I think that's part of the community, but also part of them being pastors' kids, right? You can run, but you really can't hide. So how has that impacted you? Now, obviously, you know, the community has been a part of your upbringing. You all have wonderful friends who I love and appreciate like my own children. But you've also been a part of the church upbringing. Like that's been a very big part of your development, big part of your lives. How has being a pastor's kid impacted your seasons? What are your thoughts? Don't discourage people from going into ministry now, but talk about it.
Going back to being the youngest, like I could say, I mean, when I was younger, obviously, my brothers can testify. My parents were very, very busy. Like, and they also worked in the city. So living in Brampton and having your parents both work in Toronto, and my school's right down the street. I was home alone a lot of the time because Malachi's in basketball, obviously, and then Caleb would be out with his friends biking around doing some type of foolishness. So for me, it was either I would walk home with my brothers and they would leave me, or I was home by myself. And I feel like being in that environment and knowing like, my parents are busy, they have stuff to do. Okay, my brothers are busy, they have stuff to do. I had to learn how to find my own stuff to do. Find my own friends, find my own habitat, find my own family. And obviously, like my parents, if they weren't around a lot, they would come home. I'd see them, you know, like once, twice a week, right? I'm just joking.
That is not true. Okay, we were very present parents, but ministry does take a toll, and so we have a lot of appointments and so on. But thank God for the family because people are always checking in.
Yes, of course. So basically, just going off of that, it's kind of like even when they weren't around, there was somebody home. So I had my aunts and my cousins and my grandma and my grandpa. Somebody was checking on me to make sure I was okay because they knew how it was. And also just my mom's friends, also like connecting to the church and the whole entire church community. It's like I have 500 aunties and uncles, and I have 500 grandma and grandpas. So it's like the community is really, really good to have because obviously sometimes it can be bad, but sometimes it's really, really good just to have that big, ginormous family behind you.
Yeah. So then, all right, so one of you guys can go ahead.
About just how it is to be a PK.
Yeah.
Shoot. I mean, it's nah. It's tough. Like it's good. The best parts about it though is because like you're always surrounded by like God is always near you, and I think that is one of the things that is very like we can say like obviously God is around everybody at all times, but like you feel it a lot when you are a PK because yes, like Jordan said, your parents sometimes are appointments and busy and stuff like that. But I said to my mom and dad one time, we were having dinner, I said that they did a good job of letting God also parent us in a way, if that makes sense, where they're instilling some just basic behaviors that help align with acting accordingly to being Christians. And I think that just being around the word so much, being around the pray, like waking up on the Sunday mornings to the gospel music blasting, or like having the grandparents just speaking in tongues, like right, like every time you see them, like stuff like that. I think like just like I don't know if it like it's not tangible, you don't see it, but it changes your demeanor, and it definitely like it comes up in your mind. It's definitely come up in my mind a couple of times, like where you have like friends or you go to high school where people are doing madness. Like you just think to yourself like, no, I can't be doing that. Like I'm not like you just don't like you just walk away. And I think like just being in that same circumference of people who are actively having a great relationship with the Lord definitely changes a lot of your just like behavioral instincts. That's why I feel like it's been like one of the more prominent parts for me.
No, that's a great answer. That's a great answer. Because one of the main things that I've seen, like a lot of pastors' kids are not really the greatest. And yeah, if we're being real, like, but what we learned was that you're in church, you're growing up in church, you're growing up around a community of believers, but there's going to be a time in your life where you're going to have to, your faith is going to be tested. You're going to have to see what you're standing on. You're standing on solid ground, you're standing on sand. Where is your faith rooted? And I think that is what I appreciate the most, is that our parents didn't sugarcoat it to us to say life is going to be great, your pastor's kids, God's with you, you're going to be fine. No, they said you're going to go through it. You're going to have tough times. There's going to be a moment in your life where you're going to have to make these hard choices, and you're going to have to see if your faith is rooted deep in the Lord and where you need to improve, where you're doing well, right? And I think that was one of the most important things I appreciate about being a pastor kid, because you grow up and you learn the basic principles, you learn the commandments, you learn the things that you use to shape who you are going to be in your life. And then when you go to high school, you go to middle school, you're in all these different environments, you see all different people act. But if you keep the principles that you learn with you throughout your life, when you face these challenges and these tests, you'll know how to answer the call in the right way.
Yeah, also just to like go off of that, I feel like having that and being in that environment really helps you grow without even like knowing. Like Malachi said, like you will not know how you are until somebody tells you. And I know like we can go through like talking about this. I've been through a lot of experiences where I've been outside, or I've had to like structure myself and talk a certain way and speak a certain way to certain people and just carry myself a certain way. And people will point it out to me like, oh, you're very mature. Like, you know how to speak to people, you know how to act around certain environments. And it's like, that's just because of how I was raised, the environment that I'm in. So I know how to speak to people when people want to tell me what to do, or different environments like that. Just even being at school, it's like, you know how to talk to a teacher, you know how to walk in the hallway, you know what to do at lunch, you know when to come back, you know like who to be around, who not to be around, you know not to get in trouble. I was never in the business. I have I don't want no problems, nothing, none of that, because at the end of the day,
Right.
and that's because of the environment that I grew up in. Because if I've been doing foolishness at church, you're gonna get, come here now, go sit down in the sanctuary. So it's like being in that environment and learning from that environment. It kind of just rubs off on you, and you end up being like that in your regular life.
And I think one of the more impactful bits about it is like, they don't just teach you to all be like fine and dandy, because we all know that everyone has their ups and downs. Like I said, we have seasons. Like we haven't always had the greatest moments in our life. Like we make mistakes, we're human. But I think being around people who serve the Lord so much, they kind of teach you how to get back up from the hard times. They teach you how to get back up from your mistakes. And I think that was one of the things where like it's a luxury, because some people don't have that. Some people don't know how to get back up in a godly manner, or get back up in a way that is, reflecting Christ. And yeah, that's been the biggest, like, that's one of the more impactful things I just add on. Just like they taught us how to get back up.
Yeah. I love that. Get back up again. Yes. Could write a song here. But even listening to you guys share your experiences and how the community has impacted you, and just the upbringing, and even the discipline. I appreciate the fact that you're balancing out not only the things that are positive, but even the hard discipline, and even the challenges that help to shape who you guys are and who you guys will become. Because the reality is, we're not children forever. We're going to be adults. We're going to be facing our own responsibilities, or handling our own responsibilities. And eventually you all will raise your own children, and you will be have an impact not only in your own households, but also in the communities that you're in. And I believe that, generational blessing is also generational responsibility and generational faith, where we are passing on morals and discipline and faith and structure and all of that, so that every generation after us takes something that allows us to get back up again, something that allows us to appreciate those who are in our life, something that allows us to thrive and be who God has called us to be. And so it warms my heart to hear you guys, appreciate the discipline. Because, it's all love, right? The word of God says, who the Lord loves, he chastens. And even as a good father, as the Lord is to us, we just try to do our part as parents to instill those values in you guys. So, so you guys have had a great, nice little journey, and still more to come, obviously. Right. And so we know the journey of our family. We've gone through a lot. We've had a lot of challenges over the years, especially over the last few years. We've experienced, a lot. 2020 was a wild year for everybody, with the pandemic and all of that. But, for our family, we've had quite a bit. We experienced quite a bit, losing Grandma Lydia, your great grandmother, my grandmother, and then, Dad having some health challenges in 2020, but also we had a fire at the house, and so that started a whole chain reaction of challenge for us. Tell me a little bit about how you guys felt in those moments. Not only were we dealing with a pandemic, but we had our own family, experiences as well. How do you feel about that? How did you feel about that? And how, in terms of getting up, or in terms of being able to persevere, what did you do, or how did you, navigate those experiences? You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I could say at first, obviously, it's very challenging, like shock at first, going through all those different things and being like, okay, whoa, my life is going through a whirlwind right now, especially when COVID even started, because we were at Winterfest at the time, and we went back home, and it was like, okay, go in your house, and you're never coming back out for a good amount of time. So for us, it was kind of like everything kind of hit really hard, and then especially, obviously, the health problems with my dad, and then him being in the hospital for a while, and then my mom having to take over the church. All of us had a lot going on, obviously, in our minds and different things like that, but I could say that even after the fire and everything, I remember the most important thing my dad said is like, obviously all of our stuff is gone, but we have each other. Right. As long as all of us are safe and all of us are okay, we can praise God for that, because we have each other, and that the most strong thing is the family. You don't need all the clothes and all the money and all the different things you have in the house. You don't need the house. You need each other, because as long as you have each other, you can build up off of that. And I feel like having each other in that moment really helped me just grow and be bigger, because we're going through it together. You're not alone.
Right. It was a extremely humbling experience. Mm-hmm. That year was, my goodness, all in one. Like, that year was serious. I know the world is going through a pandemic and all, but like, we were going through our own pandemic. Right?
No, seriously, yeah.
And it was humbling, like, to see. I don't know if people understand, when you're serving at a mass level, leading hundreds of people, preaching the gospel, preaching out, you devote your life to God. Mm-hmm. And you guys had jobs that you were still working, you had other responsibilities, you have kids in high school, we have needs. Mm-hmm. And to be doing so much in the kingdom and to still be going through so much outside of church, I mean, it was extremely humbling. And I think it's wild. And I think for me, it's when I really started to understand more and more what the Christian journey and what the Christian walk is really like. Yeah. Because a lot of times we sugarcoat it. We don't really talk about how you're going to go through these hard times and what you need to do to overcome them. I mean, the fire was a tragedy. We didn't understand how bad the fire was until later on. And that was the first time I saw Dad. It wasn't the first time, but I saw him really like defeated for a second. Yeah.
Like, so we were outside. Like, we were literally outside. I don't know if anyone had a house fire. We were literally outside.
You guys do not.
No, we were literally outside, damn near, like, butt naked. What a boat.
I was like, I had no clue. Bro, I had no clue.
Like, and it's cold. Like, it's that cold outside. And we're just there, like, bro. Like, and I remember my mom, like, oh, so, like, we get to go back inside, right?
And the guy was like, ma'am, you will not be living here for a long time.
I was like, nah, because like the smoke damage goes in the walls and like it's compromised. It's like when you get your car like totaled. Like we never like experienced that. Yeah, we couldn't like we could not even see the smoke like that at that time. But after a while, like obviously fast forward, you go back in the house, it's like black, like real
Yes, so
gut.
they let us back in the house to go get our stuff.
To look at the stuff.
Everything dusty, gone. You don't even want it anymore. At that
Charred.
point, it's just charcoal. The whole house
It was
is
devastating.
gone.
That was a devastating
was
experience.
bad.
Honestly.
It
Terrible.
was bad.
And sorry, yeah, back to what I was saying. That was one of the first times I saw Dad really defeated.
Yeah.
Like he's one of those guys where it's like you hit him on the chin. All right, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna get back up and I'm going. Hey, he was that to me, and I saw him look at the house. He's like, "Why me?"
Yeah, I remember saying that.
That broke me. That was like, yo, he's saying that
Yeah.
because he was the warrior. He was the one that was like, hit me with it. I'm getting back up.
Yeah.
But that defeat, like that was, and in my perspective, understanding the magnitude of it all, having lawyers come by talk about what's gonna happen with the house and saying like, yeah, your guys' clothes are completely gone, like whatever you have, it was extremely humbling. And I think that whole year, mind you, he was just still recovering from the stroke.
Right.
He was still recovering from the stroke that he had, the double stroke that he had.
Couple
Couple months.
The house fire was a couple months. Like when he had the stroke.
5-6 months.
So
October.
July was when the stroke happened, and then December was the fire. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's right.
it's
like
back to
5
back.
months, 5 months.
It's back to back. Like, and at this point, we're just like, it was crazy. Like, we're still in school, like a little bit during the time, because December, you start going back or whatever, and like we're leaving to go to school from the hotel, bro.
From the
Like,
hotel.
We are leaving from the hotel to go back to school, and I'm not saying it now. Maybe to other people it may sound privileged. We have been great, like for our parents to provide for us. They provided for us in every way, shape, or form, which is crazy. But for us, that was like we never had to do that. Like we are like suburb kids, bro. Like we never had to do that.
That even
Never.
connects back to the village. Malcolm and Caleb sharing a bed for almost a
Yeah.
whole month.
Yeah.
Sleeping on a pull-up couch.
Yeah.
Nah, we had some trench moments though. We
Trench.
had some trench moments. We had some trench moments. We had some trench moments. But so that experience was extremely humbling. But to see how we kind of rallied together, that happened on maybe a Friday, a Thursday.
Monday, because I know it was Grandpa's birthday.
No, the fire happened on a Tuesday.
The fire happened on a Tuesday.
Yeah, it happened on the Tuesday, and so then that was because Grandma had passed the Thursday before. Grandma had passed the Thursday before, so
And we just
so
came back from Jersey.
So that we could we had gone to Jersey for her 100th birthday in March, and so that was July. So she had passed the Thursday before, and then Dad had stroke on the Tuesday, and then the fire. So that was for the stroke part, and then the fire happened. So yeah, I'm mixing up. So much has happened in this 2022 that I can't even get the story straight. But December, it was Grandpa's birthday. I remember.
Birthday.
So December 1st. That was birthday. So that happened on a Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday. And then that happened on the Tuesday. The Sunday is church now.
Literally, yeah.
Yep. And
But
we had
we-
to go
but-
straight-
And it's church in COVID.
Yeah.
Nobody's
so church
there.
in COVID. So we're recording.
And we're recording. Like we're setting up, we're getting ready to record, we're setting up all the equipment. It's not like we're coming to a bunch of hugs and people supporting us, be like, yeah. Like we're going to an empty church. Like empty, quiet, like you don't feel faith from the walls. Like the walls are giving me some energy. No, it's empty. And it was looking back, it's like it's you and God. I'm stripping everything from you. It reminds you of the Job story in a sense. It wasn't as severe. Thank God it wasn't as severe, because if I was Job, I don't know. But it was like it would show it everybody else around us. I've blessed them tremendously. I've done great things in their life. But they'll never leave me.
Right.
They'll never think about all these blessings and say, I've done all this. I've worked hard. I deserve this.
Yeah.
It was always about God.
Yeah.
Who else would have their house burned down and go preach a sermon to a camera and not even know that if people are being impacted by it? It was God. Like this family, it's them and God.
Yeah.
As much as they have, you know what I mean, the house and different successes, like it's us, it's them and God. And God is the main thing. And that really humbled me to say, like, wow, if If you don't have a relationship with God, you don't have anything. Because if all this stuff is taken away, these monetary things, these, you know what I mean? If this is taken away, what do you have? And you're left with God. And that was an experience I felt like I really grew through mentally to say, this is the most important thing.
It makes more, yeah. Like, I remember going back into the house, like I said, with the smoke and everything, and my stuff are all covered. Like I said, everything was black. My Bible was the only thing that had no smoke on it. And for me, I know people have those cliche stories, but it's significant. When you're in the moment where everything is like, your world is falling apart, and God is really kind of showing you, like, it's got to be me and you. It's got to be me and you. And like, to touch on that Job story a little bit, Job, for a little while, all he wanted to do was give up. For a little while. And I think that's what makes it so, like, to go back to pushing back, that's what makes it so important, because you're going to get to moments where all you want to do is just give up. Like, really just sit down and say, man, like, this is it. But you got to look at God and know that he has you and trust in his word and just stick it through. Like, we're not going to see the results. We didn't even get, like, it's not like we went to the house in the same year. We didn't get back to the house in the same we still never went back. So it's like, you really have to just really walk and live by faith, like seeing the God's footprints on the ground and really just stepping into them without looking up and really just focusing on Christ. And I think that was like, that's been like, to be able to get back up and push back. Like, our parents were really the role models in the situation, because as much as we are a family and, you know, we hurt together, they worked for all those stuff, the house, our clothes, like the family, like their house, like they worked for all those stuff. And like, seeing how they took it was really just like, okay, yeah, you gotta trust in God. Like, to sit down and pray and spend that time with each other. Like, sometimes where they would just let us be away, the three of us on our own, and they wrestle and toil with God. Like, just seeing the demeanor and how they took that approach definitely helped, because you have, like, it's hard to do it alone, and they did it together. And that's the thing. Like, they made sure that there wasn't one thing that they were missing out for, like, between one another. I know you can speak to that. I'll let you go ahead and talk about that during that moment.
I think it was a devastating time. I mean, we could laugh about it now.
Right.
But in the moment it was not good, right? But as you all rightfully, highlighted, it's our faith in God that has helped us the entire time. If we lose everything, as long as we have God, we have everything, right? And we wanted to protect you guys through it, but we knew we couldn't shield you guys from the experience because you're having your own experience. But what we could do is continue to stand on who has kept us the entire time. And so together, your dad and I, Sean and I, we just said we're gonna get through it. Like everything else before, we don't know how. Some of the things were very intense that we had to navigate through, but together we said we got each other's back. We're gonna get through this, and our faith in God's ability to keep us, even in the most crazy scenarios and the most difficult circumstances, what has carried us through this entire time. And so, what I appreciate is we are living, like, those experiences reminded us of the fact that what we preach, what we sing about, our worship is all rooted in life's experiences, right? It's real. It's not a facade. We're not just singing. We're not just preaching. No, guy, we're living this thing, right? And when we say, like, the Lord gives and the Lord takes away, like Job, blessed be the name of the Lord. Like, no, we for real, like, we're living that.
Make it out.
You know what I mean? No, and that is where faith really kicks in. You know, Hebrews 11:1, when it talks about now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Verse 6 says, without faith, it's impossible to please God, for who that comes to him must believe that he is, and that he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Right. The heroes of faith, a lot of them, the scripture says, did not even see the promise, but they believed God unto death. And so faith is about confidence in God. Right. Not in things, in him. And so then whatever your circumstance is, you know that the one who holds you through every season is going to be able to carry you through every situation. So I think the last thing that it's a great discussion, and I believe that someone is being empowered just even by listening to you guys share, from your heart. Fast forward, we moved, obviously to Chicago. Great transition, big transition. We're still in the throes of transition, being in a new church, new environment, new country, navigating all the challenges that come through that. I don't know that you can't even write a reality TV show script.
And they tried, and we said, ever since they brought us that reality show and said, we're going to do a reality show, life just went mosh up. Everything just started to mosh up. You guys don't know, but they said, yeah, you guys should do a reality show. Let's start filming. Let's work. We did some work. Ever since then, it just went down.
So no one can write a script like this. But anyway, we moved to Chicago. Now we have this wonderful opportunity to be pastoring the church, a new environment, getting to know new people again, taking you guys from a community in Toronto, all of our familiar areas, familiar friends, everybody that we know, to come into a new environment. And that's part of seasons, because it's a part of change and transition. One thing that I am appreciative of is that the body of Christ is so vast that no matter where you go in the world, you are going to find family. You're going to find church family. You're going to find people who love you and people you can, journey through life with. But, over the last, let's see, now it's 8 months, we've probably experienced the most devastating experience that our family has ever experienced, right? And with the passing of your dad. And if you want, share a little bit about how that experience has impacted you and what you've taken away from it, and how your faith, even as we've been talking about a lot of our, experiences, and how faith has been our anchor, faith in God has been our anchor. You guys want to share a little bit about that, where you're at today, and maybe encourage someone who might be even dealing with a devastating loss of their own, Anyone want to start off? And
man, it's a little crickets in here because, but it's been tough. Anyone that has had loss knows a little bit, but everyone has a unique experience in loss. And for us, having Superman go down, it's kind of like, damn. During the time, it was really just, it was sudden. It wasn't anything that was leading up. And it's been difficult because you still miss Dad, you still miss him, and you still miss just the regular routines, the day by days, the regular calls, the texts. Anyone that knows my dad knows he's gonna call you. And just him being around, like, we say all these stories and we talk about all the stuff that we've been through, and he was there for every bit of it. He was teaching us, leading through every bit of it. And for anybody who's been out there, I know a lot of people say that it doesn't get better, but obviously we believe that through Christ we live again, and we'll see him again. And so we take that literally, and embrace being able to enjoy every day that you have, because you don't get that again. And if there's one thing that I talk to my mom about, I talk to Malachi Jordan about, just my dad was never someone that wasn't going to enjoy his day. No matter what was going on, he was going to make sure by the time he goes to sleep, he has enjoyed his day.
Absolutely.
And it's been an added goal for me, and hopefully an added goal for people who will see this, just to genuinely enjoy every day that you have. Most people work so hard. More people are working to be able to relax than people are working to be able to be successful. And if you can relax in a way where you're comfortable with what's going on around you, with the people that you have around you, and enjoy your circumstance, your situation, and take that, by the end of the day, you'll make it to tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And it's still hard. It'll be hard. But he's definitely, this season for me has definitely taught me to be able to appreciate every moment that you have and just stick with it, because God has a way of doing things that doesn't make sense to us, but we've never stopped believing in God. So why would we stop now? He's going to make a way. He'll always make a way. And again, it's not just like walking in faith. We're living in it. Like believing, like almost as if to the outsider, to someone that knows nothing about Christianity, almost as if we're delusional. Like just fully dived in to know that he knows what he's doing and trusting in that. So for me, I guess what I would say is just to try and appreciate and enjoy, genuinely enjoy your days. Like, try not to go to sleep upset. It's hard, but try not to go to sleep upset. Really get to the end of your day and love your family, love the people around you, and hold God close. Hold God close.
For sure. I feel like that's one thing my dad did. He always made sure he enjoyed his day. I used to like hate it because every day he's like, let's go outside, let's go to the mall, let's go to the store, let's go look at shoes, let's go look at furniture. The whole house is furnished, and we're going to look at furniture. So it was like, obviously, like in my perspective, it was like, oh my gosh, outside again. But for him, it's like he wants to be outside, he wants something to do, so he enjoys his day and he genuinely gets to do everything he did. My dad is a great example of someone who genuinely lived their life to the fullest and did everything that he wanted to do in his life. Like, he did everything he ever wanted to do. He was happy, genuinely happy with everything he's done. He's came far and he looked back like, I did that. You know what I'm trying to say? So I feel like my dad is a great role model of like how I would want to be in my life, how I want to live my life going forward. Because he's taught me everything I know. And obviously it's hard that he's not here anymore. I know that he's taught me everything I need to know moving forward from here until I'm 50. So I really do just appreciate everything he did for me and my family. And obviously missing him is hard. It's going to be hard. It's hard to talk about him. I can say I'm okay, but it's genuinely hard to speak about him. But moving forward, it's kind of just keeping yourself busy, but knowing that it's okay to not be okay. Because a lot of people say, oh, I'm not okay, da-da-da, but it's okay to not be okay because that's how you move forward with not being okay. Obviously, you're going to be hurt in the moment, but you'll grow to be able to understand what happened and understand, like, everything will be okay. Faith in God. I don't know how many times I've talked to people and they're like, oh, you're a pastor's kid, but like, if God got me, then why would he let me fail my test? And I prayed that he would help me pass my test. Oh, God got me, but he let this and that happen. The things you go through in your life are trials and tests to make sure that your faith is still in God. He's not going to make your life perfect because no one's life is going to be perfect. You have to go through trials and tribulations to grow. So that even for that, it's like if something happens in your life and it's hard, you have to understand you have to grow. You have to learn something from it. Nothing happens in your life and you do not have to grow from it. You have to grow and understand and learn from that experience. And if you don't learn from it the first time, it will happen again. Because God's trying to show you something. You'll go through experiences, life, trial, tribulations until you're old. Because you need to learn how to do certain things and learn from that experience until you get older. You never stop learning anything, ever. Right. You'll never stop learning. So for me, it's like, have faith in God. Yes, you'll go through things, but he's putting you through it for a reason. So ask him. Talk to him about it because he will give you an answer. But make sure you're okay with being not okay and growing through it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. Great. Jordan put it in a great perspective. There's going to be things that happen that you don't have answers for. This was definitely something that it took me a long time to really kind of accept that. There's no answer for this. Obviously, we weren't there at the concert. We were away. It was extremely hard for me. I feel like emotionally something broke in me. Like there was I lost something, and it was Dad. I felt that emotionally, and navigating the loss has been extremely tough. But what I appreciate and what I've noticed is that God used my father's life as a testimony, a way to build even my own faith. He would always say that God is more real to me than my wife, than my children, than each and every one of you in this room, than the clothes on my back. And he would say, if he's ready to take me now, I'm ready to go. Now, I don't know why a 40-something-year-old man is saying that.
Right.
Right? But he went through his fair share of life experiences to understand and know that in his heart, if he was good with God, then that's all that mattered. And he would always say again, when I die, I want to die worshiping. I want to leave earth worshiping and enter heaven worshiping. And to see that God fulfilled his wish, he granted his wish in that very moment. There's so many different things that happened over the course of his life that point to God. And his greatest wish was that God would get the glory out of his life. And that was the most inspiring thing to me. And although navigating his loss has been extremely hard, and how the dynamic of our family changes and the things that we have to deal with changes, I just feel so honored to have a father who really embodied what it means to be a man of God. To know that he is in heaven and God is pleased with him. To know that he lived a life that impacted so many people. To see the impact of the funeral, to see the testimonies from people speaking of his life, it was just amazing. And I find peace knowing that he did his due. He did his work and what he was supposed to do on this earth. And my only hope and my prayer is that I could fulfill my destiny and do everything that God has called me to do while I'm on this earth as well. To bring honor to him, my father on this earth, and my father in heaven.
No, for sure. Like, just to, obviously we're closing up, but like, God, like, Dad always tells us to, turn to God, make sure God's first. And I just remember getting a phone call situation, because like Malachi said, we weren't there at the time. And it's hard, we're crying, Jordan's crying, Malachi's crying. And I remember the first thing that I did was I sat there, I prayed, and I said, God, before there was any like pronunciation time, I already knew what was up. Something with me already knew what was up. And my first prayer was, God, just make sure my mom is okay. That was the first thing I went to. Because before either of us, he'd do anything for my mom, without a doubt. And for me, it was like, you learn it's like, it just instinctively goes on. Like, he passed that in a way where it's like, I'm going for exactly what he would have done at that moment. And it teaches you that, like, I prayed. And you pray for others, you pray for people, you make sure that everyone is okay. And it's going to come back in a way where God's going to make sure that you're okay. And just continuing that cycle, because my dad cared about everyone. Like, he put himself last 100% of the time. And just to say, like, the first action, the first thought, the first thing that I did was, okay, let me pray for somebody else. Let me pray for my mom. And I think that just goes to say, like, not only did my dad do a great job, but my Heavenly Father, amazing job to take the moment and trust in him enough to say, watch over my mom, watch over my sister. Because we're not there. And my dad's not there. So transitioning from obviously my physical father, like looking at God, like actually looking at God now, like, you're my pops. Like, actually looking at him like that. Some people don't do that. Like, actually taking a moment to pray where it's like, I'm saying dad and I'm talking to God. And that in itself just goes to show, like, although we're going through all different seasons in our life, God's going to make sure at the end of the day, like Malachi said, is you and him. Because Judgment Day, it's you and him. And so, yeah, like, faith is really, like, for this season, faith has really been the anchor for it all. I'll pass the mic over. I don't know if you want to speak on the situation.
Yeah. As you guys rightfully said, like, this has probably been, not probably, it has been the most difficult season of our life as a family. Yeah. Yeah, losing your dad, losing my husband has been the most challenging experience. And one of the things that continues to give me, the strength to carry on is just knowing that he is right where he planned to be, which was in heaven, because that was his thing. We actually believe what we preach, that this life is temporary and that eventually we are going to rest with the Lord. Now, I'm not trying to do that at 40, in our 40s. Right? You know what I'm saying? That was not the plan. You know what I'm saying? And I say, God, is this, you really think this is, like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, this is not the plan, right? But I am, more than anything else, when I think about where we are and what we've experienced and just the family that we've raised, I know with all my heart that your father is so proud and was already proud of you guys. You guys were his pride and joy. He talked about you guys to everybody, people we know and people we don't know. You showing pictures of you guys to random strangers. He was the proudest father I have ever seen. And I know that if he were here to listen to you guys talk about him, it would just melt his heart. And you guys, what I'm grateful for is that you had the opportunity to share with him how you loved him and how you appreciated him. So as we journey through the season, my greatest joy is that I had the pleasure of being his wife for 24 years. I had the pleasure of him being my him being my, my buddy, my friend, my everything, for 28 years, dated young, and together we were able to raise a family that we are so proud of, and that a family that gives God all the glory, because that has been our heart's desire. And so as we navigate through this season, as we journey through this season, we're still on the journey. You never miss a person. You never stop missing the person, but it does get easier with God's grace, because he reminds us that we will see him again. And so I want to encourage someone today. We want to encourage someone today who may be going through a season of loss or a season of challenge or something with your family or even personally. The same God that is keeping us will keep you. The same God that is strengthening us will strengthen you. The same God who cares about us and has provided for us will provide for you. And we pray that our time together has been one that you have been inspired by, that you've gotten some kind of encouragement. Something that we've said would have just reminded you how precious you are to the Lord, and that this journey of faith is really, at the end of the day, what we all have and what we all can build our lives on, because God will never leave us and he'll never forsake us. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to say before we close off, but I think,
I think the last thing I'll say is that for you, this is so powerful, so inspiring, because it goes to show that you weren't a pastor's wife whose faith was rooted in the husband. You have a faith of your own, a relationship with God of your own, a calling of your own, where God is saying it wasn't just him who had an anointing to preach, who had an anointing to speak, who had an anointing to pour into people's lives. It's you as well. And I pray that this podcast, this show, this journey that you're going on, this new season in your life will be something that God gets the glory out of, and that he uses you in a mighty way. And people already know, our family, our community knows just how impactful and how inspirational you are. And the fact that you have stepped out in faith to share this with the world, to inspire somebody else and encourage somebody else who has gone through extremely tough times and is trying to navigate the next steps. I really do pray, and I believe by faith that this podcast, this will be something that will inspire people and touch people's lives. And it will be a testament to your resilience, your persistence, your overall faith in God. And this is going to be amazing. I'm so happy that we're here. I'm so happy that you're doing this. It's such an inspiration for us. We know God's going to do great things with you.
100%. Just piggyback off of that. We are always proud of Pops, but flowers always go to Mom as well. Because as much as he's Superman, she is definitely Superwoman. And it's definitely, like Maka said, just a great opportunity to be able to touch people, like from any generation, really, and take the opportunity to kind of share our mom once again with you guys. And you get to kind of see what it is and challenge her. You guys give questions, give some stuff of interest that you might want to see, because my parents can be Bible, like in the Bible, like people. You see how they have like characters? Like, I don't want to say characters because they're real people, but like you can really write down their life and see how impactful, see how crazy it is. So just stay tuned. And aside from you guys, Mom, I'm proud of you. We're proud of you. And this is just another step in the journey, another walk, and it's going far. And yeah, we're with you 100%.
Last thing I'd like to say.
Love you, guys. Oh my God.
Me too.
My mom is the strongest person I know. And she can also give you the best advice you need in the world. So if you ever ask questions
if you need to like really like think about some stuff in your life, she'll make you sit there and think for
Seriously.
days. Like, yeah, she was really right. Like, I'm on a mountain right now. Great advice, like great spiritual advice.
So yeah, if you guys have questions, anything like that, trust me, talk to my mom, because my mom will help you go through anything you're going through. And she also, like, even my dad, they were the most helpers in the world. Ask them anything and they will genuinely help you. So I hope you guys learn stuff from this podcast. Hope you guys learn from her, and I hope you guys can just grow and obviously just learn more and just be able to be happy in your life and know that you guys are okay through the podcast. I'm proud of you.
Aw, my children, y'all. Oh, thank you so much, guys, for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, everyone. I couldn't be more thrilled. And the Lord just has a wonderful way of just reminding us of our purpose, but also that everything that we experience in our life does have a purpose, and it'll also be a testimony to help others. And that's my heart, right? That whatever I've experienced in this life will serve as a testimony and point people to the love and the grace and the favor and the help of the Lord, so that they too can also succeed and overcome whatever it is that they're facing. So thank you for joining us for this season of podcast. I want to thank my kiddos.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Bust it up one time.
Yep, come through. I don't know if we're gonna bust it up again.
I don't know.
But
So we're gonna have them on again, my favorite guests. All right, but stay tuned for the next season. Thanks for joining us. We pray that the Lord bless you and keep you, cause His face to shine upon you, and be gracious unto you, and grant you His peace. In Jesus' name, amen. Take care. Till next time.